Tonight, parking problem.
I thought it was a legitimate joke, so I scanned the QR code myself.
Confusion and concern after a digital system was compromised. Door-to-door delivery coming to an end.
For Kitchener, this represents roughly 41,000 addresses.
Kitchener is next on the list for community mailboxes. Plus, robotic assist.
Can't believe that we reached our goal overnight, and now it's here. It really seems like a dream.
The arrival of technology that could change a Guelph boy's life. Good evening. We begin with a strange story out of Elora tonight, where a QR code meant for parking was directing people to an adult website. The Township of Centre Wellington says their new online parking software has been compromised and the system's offline. But they won't offer any more information than that. It's led to confusion and concern. CTV's Jeff Pickle joining us now with more on this. Jeff, this parking system, we should note, in Elora, it's only about a month old.
And Tony, it was controversial when it was implemented. Essentially, residents can apply for an exemption, but anyone visiting the town has to pay for parking in the downtown area through a QR code, one of the many kiosks dotted around the city. But right now, the system is offline as the QR code was sending people to a very naughty site online.
Yeah, so I touched it at first because I thought it was a touch screen. Apparently not. And
More parking woes in the town of Elora.
You know, we love the town. Figured we'd go grab lunch, so we parked here and can't figure out how to get a parking ticket.
This comes after a delayed and controversial rollout of a new parking system requiring visitors to pay for parking downtown. But the system has hit a snag a little over a month after it rolled out.
I probably would have been here for another 10 minutes trying to figure it out, so you know, it was nice that you were to kind of help me out there.
The problem is a strange one.
So I thought it was a legitimate joke, so I scanned the QR code myself.
The QR code meant to direct people to a payment page was sending people to a different part of the internet.
And at first it seemed fine, but then, and it wouldn't let you pay for parking. That seemed to have been disabled, but when you went to press pay for a parking ticket, it would send you to the adult entertainment website.
The township says they became aware of the situation yesterday afternoon and acknowledged the system was compromised and worked quickly to address the problem.
I was walking home and I noticed that there was garbage bags covering up all the parking signs, and I thought that was just odd.
The township says at this point they do not believe any confidential information has been exposed, but local shop owners say the hack is a concern.
It's bizarre. Like, why hack into a system and do something like that? It's strange for our town.
Despite the actions of the township to cover up the QR code on the signs, a QR code on the kiosk was directing people to the township event page with no information about the parking issue. An unusual situation presenting another setback.
Customers have come in complaining, getting tickets.
For an already controversial parking plan. And we reached out to the township for an interview about the situation, but were declined. They say they will keep residents updated through the township website. Tony.
Okay, Jeff, thank you. CTV's Jeff Pickle reporting. For the second time this week, a police officer in this province has been killed in the line of duty. An 18-year veteran of the Toronto Police was shot and killed early this morning. CTV's Beth McDonnell reports.
43-year-old Constable Mark Pinizzato was a husband, father to 14-year-old twins, and a Toronto police officer for 18 years. Today, while executing a search warrant, the specially trained member of the emergency task force was shot and killed.
Our teams met with Mark's family at the hospital to confirm this devastating news, and they are grieving a profound loss. Words cannot describe the pain they are feeling.
I happen to know the mom very well for 20+ years. Their grief is shared across this entire city.
The shooting happened around 5:40 in the morning at a residential tower near Black Creek Drive and Trethui Drive. There was an exchange of gunfire. The Special Investigations Unit says Pinizzotto entered a fourth-floor unit when a suspect fired the first shot.
A man discharged his firearm at an officer, resulting in the officer being struck. A second officer returned fire, and the man was struck multiple times.
A 19-year-old suspect is in custody, sent to hospital in critical condition. Police say Pinizzotto was rushed to Sunnybrook, but despite heroic efforts, did not survive. The tower where Pinizzotto was shot is the same building where last summer 8-year-old Javai Roy was hit by a stray bullet and killed. In this case, many woke up to the sound of sirens and saw tactical officers with guns. Police have been guarding the lobby and the unit where shots were fired.
I was terrified. Like, I was so scared because I'm looking out the window. I'm like, oh my gosh, not again.
And then when I went to drop my daughter off at the school bus, I seen all the blood and stuff in the lobby.
From Sunnybrook, Pinizzotto's body was carried in a procession to the coroner's office. The grief and sadness of this day overwhelming for his fellow officers. This police salute a show of solidarity. Described as a dream recruit, they have now lost one of their own in the line of duty.
That report from CTV's Beth McDonnell. And the officer was at that apartment complex as part of an investigation into gunfire toward the U.S. consulate and several synagogues. U.S. authorities believe these attacks are connected to a global terror organization. CTV's John Woodward has the details.
It was the American ambassador who first made the connection Thursday morning.
A Toronto policeman was killed, I believe, overnight in an investigation that may be linked to the United States.
Toronto's police chief then linking their operation on Martha Eden Way to the shooting at the U.S. consulate by the drivers of this Honda SUV in March.
Concerned a number of shootings, including a shooting at the United States consulate on University Avenue.
Within days of that attack, 3 synagogues in Toronto and Vaughan were also hit by bullets. Those attacks also came up in an investigation a world away, mentioned by someone wiretapped by U.S. authorities as he bragged about attacks in Amsterdam and Paris. According to an unsealed American criminal complaint, the man, an operative of the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps, said our people were behind 2 attacks in Canada against the consulate and the Knesset, which the Americans believed referred to the consulate in Toronto and the synagogues. The man, Mohammed Bakr Saad Dawood al-Sadi, was arrested in Turkey in May and brought to the U.S., charged with directing 18 terrorist attacks throughout Europe.
Islamist jihadi-inspired extremist violence, that this continues to be a global phenomenon, that there continue to be organizations that actively feed it, and that there are individuals who actively recruit people to carry out such violence.
The RCMP confirming to CTV News their national security enforcement team was at the deployment Thursday morning.
This is an attack on Canada's freedom, and these people are financed. They're not casual criminals. These guys are, again, embedded, armed criminal gangs that are being financed to bring terror to Toronto, and the police are a frontline defense.
Against attacks that may have been commissioned a world away. John Woodward, CTV News.
As we mentioned earlier, this is the second time this week a police officer in this province has been killed in the line of duty. OPP Constable Taryn Bali was killed in the line of duty in Northern Ontario after being struck by a vehicle on Tuesday. Officers were trying to stop a vehicle as part of an ongoing investigation when Constable Bali was struck. In that case, an 18-year-old has since been charged with first-degree murder. The search for an aggressive dog that was seriously injured, or I should say an aggressive dog that seriously injured a young boy and attacked several others in Barrie, has ended. Barrie police found it early this morning and killed it. CTV's Mike Lang reports.
After 3 days on the loose, the aggressive dog in South Barrie was found by police in the area of Tiffin Street, Patterson Road, and Ferndale Drive after an overnight call from someone who lives in the area.
The officer spent 15 minutes trying to interact with the dog and trying to use a dog pole to secure it, but each time that was unsuccessful.
Police ultimately deciding to shoot the animal, citing the safety of the public and responding officers. The dog, described as a large light brown bully breed, was first reported to police on Monday when it seriously injured and mauled an 11-year-old boy and attacked several other people.
Nobody wants to take an animal's life, but sometimes in this case with the young child that was severely injured, we certainly didn't want a reoccurrence of that, and the dog was not showing any signs of being less aggressive.
Police confirm the boy remains in hospital in stable condition after rescue efforts by a Barrie resident pulling the boy out of the dog's jaws. Footage from a Dove Crescent home on Monday shows officers searching their neighbor's backyard and what appears to be the dog roaming across their pool area. With the animal now put down, residents in the area, particularly dog owners, feeling bittersweet relief.
Hate to have animals put down, but in this particular situation, it sounds like they did the right thing.
I walk around here a lot with my own dog, and it was a little scary the other day when you heard about this.
He's been getting like minimal walks, so now finally today I'm going for a nice walk.
The investigation continuing by Barrie Police, bylaw, and the health unit.
We've identified the owner. We have not yet been able to speak to the owner.
The health unit stating its role in preventing the transmission of rabies, telling CTV News, in part, we have submitted a request to the Canadian Food Inspection Agency to test the dog for rabies. We remind residents to seek prompt medical attention if they have been bitten by any animal.
And that report from CTV's Mike Lang in Barrie tonight. All right, time for a first check on the weather. Let's head over to Ashley Bacon in studio with the latest. You know, I was just speaking with our Jeff Pickle before we went on the air tonight. It's just one of those days where even a lot of the animals don't like it. And I'm sure as a dog mom, you know that story all too well.
Oh, yes, and he's a furry guy, as you know, Tony,
Yes.
and he is not enjoying this heat. But the good news is, Tony, we only have a couple more days, and then we're on a cool front from Sunday. So there is some relief on the way, but we still have a couple of hot days ahead, and we didn't see as much rain today as was initially expected, so we may see some more through the overnight hours. Spotty showers once again continuing, but it's the heat that's really got everyone talking. This heat warning Environment Canada issued 2 days ago is still ongoing for the Windsor, Leamington, Essex County area. 33 degrees today, feeling closer to 43, so really hot down there. Not too much better here. 26 degrees still in Waterloo region. We do have a nice westerly wind of 26 kilometers an hour right now, but around the region feeling closer to 34 right now, Tony. But like I said, a cold front is on the way. I'll have those details coming up.
Okay, talk to you shortly. Thank you, Ash. You are looking at a party in Mexico City this afternoon as Shakira and other artists took the stage at the first of 3 FIFA World Cup opening ceremonies. Canada and the U.S. have their own events scheduled for tomorrow. The performances took place at a historic venue just before Team Mexico's first game. And the first game of the tournament's already been played. The opening match between Mexico and South Africa ended with a 2-0 Mexico victory. Tonight, that same stadium will see another game between South Korea and Czechia. Toronto and Vancouver say they are ready to host their respective games with less than 24 hours to go until the first World Cup match on home soil in Toronto. CTV's Heather Wright is downtown tonight for the biggest sporting event in the world.
4,000 kilometers from where the World Cup officially kicks off today in Mexico City, a mariachi band opened the festivities at Toronto's Fan Fest. A sea of green with Mexican fans coming out to watch their team kick off the 2026 World Cup.
Viva Mexico! We are so far from Mexico right now, but we can feel the vibes right here in Toronto.
Toronto's official World Cup motto is "The World in a City," fitting for the most diverse city on the planet. These friends traveled from Mexico to Toronto just to experience the atmosphere of a World Cup.
I mean, you ask all these people around here, they're from all over the country, all over the world, to come and watch a match, so it's exciting.
Toronto will host 6 matches over the next 3 weeks, while 7 will take place in Vancouver. Residents can expect road closures, heavy traffic, and detours on game days, with both cities asking people to park their cars at home and take transit. Canada opens its tournament tomorrow here in Toronto, and Mayor Olivia Chow says the city is ready.
Thousands of people working together. We are so ready. The world has arrived to the city of Toronto.
No World Cup is without controversy, and ticketing has been a big one this year. Much of the criticism has been leveled at FIFA and its dynamic pricing strategies, which has led to some of the most expensive World Cup tickets ever. The City of Toronto has also faced backlash over its decision to resell its tickets to corporations at a higher price, a move the mayor defended as a way to keep costs down.
No property taxpayer has to pay to host this game.
So a total of 2 matches today in Mexico, with things kicking off here in Canada tomorrow. Canada versus Bosnia and Herzegovina. That match goes at 3 p.m. Heather Wright, CTV News, Toronto.
All right, Heather, thank you. And the first game in Canada won't take place until tomorrow in Toronto, but FanFest began today. After years of planning and preparation, it took just a few minutes for Mother Nature to change all of the plans. CTV's Mike Walker has that.
Mexico! Mexico! Thousands of fans coming together to celebrate the beautiful game.
I'm happy. I love football.
Up to 20,000 people from across the GTHA and the globe expected to attend the Fan Festival at Fort York in the Bentway.
Went to Brazil to watch over there. And when they say that it's coming over here, I say, right on, I don't have to travel. It's going to be right on my backyard.
And for many, it's their first World Cup event, like Karen, who is from Colombia.
She's very excited because she always dreamed to be in a World Cup.
All eyes glued to the action on multiple screens as Mexico and South Africa kicked off the tournament. Omar among the large contingent of Mexican fans cheering loudly at the main stage.
It means a lot because we get to be with the Mexican community, watching the game.
But that excitement quickly fizzled out. The festival evacuated due to the threat of inclement weather.
Well, we were sad because we were not able to finish the game, but it's okay, we need to leave.
The city stating out of an abundance of caution, the FIFA Fan Festival is being cancelled due to the risk of lightning. The decision was not made lightly. However, safety is our utmost priority.
Bit of a disappointment, right? But it's all about our safety.
We didn't see anything.
I mean, it's okay. It's for our own security, so it's okay.
Disappointment among fans attending the largely free event, some out hundreds of dollars after paying for premium tickets.
When it's like a little rain and they just cancel.
We miss work and then just to come here and then they cancel. It just sucks.
An event with years of planning and excitement cut short by the weather.
CTV's Mike Walker reporting. The end of a year and the start of a new beginning. Just ahead, CTV's Karis Map takes us to the celebration for a new school in Kitchener and its tributes to the region's roots.
Almost a repeat of last night. Very uncomfortable conditions expected through the overnight hours, warm and wet. But just how hot is it going to get tomorrow? Those details with your full forecast coming up.
Download the CTV News app and stay on top of local stories as they unfold.
We go to a dramatic scene unfolding.
Customize your feed and watch live wherever you are. CTVKitchener.ca, your home for news. When you see it happen, send it to CTV News. Text 10400. From your screen to ours. Text 10400.
The school year is wrapping up, but students and staff at the new Willow River Public School in Kitchener are celebrating a new beginning. CTV's Karis Map takes us to a celebration of the building's completion and its tributes to the region's roots.
1, 2, 3!
The
The Willow River Otters unveiled their new mascot while celebrating the grand opening of Waterloo Region District School Board's newest public school.
It was just really fun to meet everyone, and in my old school I knew everyone, but here was all new and it was so exciting to start a whole new year.
Being in a brand new school is great, and getting to start everything from the ground up is really cool.
Opening for learning in September 2025, some areas had been off limits. Students now getting to enjoy the entire building.
We were able to occupy about half of the school to start the school year, and certainly we're excited to do that in September. And as the year's gone on, construction has continued, and now today certainly it's finished and got to celebrate the grand opening.
The celebration inspired by the student body.
They are the heart of our school, and I wanted to ensure they had voice in what our ceremony was. And so we worked with our student leadership team, we worked with the music committee.
Much of the school's foundation was built on reflection and a promise for the future.
With the proximity to the Grand River, that created just some special connections, certainly to our Indigenous roots here in Waterloo Region.
Indigenous architecture can be spotted throughout the public school, including in the main lobby.
I like the architecture and the design, like the spiral staircase. When I went up, I was like, wow.
Just learned today actually resembles a smudge bowl.
There's also an outdoor classroom to promote land-based learning.
Our kindergartens have created a butterfly garden, whereas some of our older students have created an herb garden.
Next year, the school's population will almost double, close to 600 students, with grade 8 classes being offered.
What I'm really looking forward to is, all the stuff that we've worked for this year still is still there next year. We have made a student hub for grades 7 and 8 students, and that'll be open next year.
Paris Mapp, CTV News, Kitchener.
The city of Kitchener is getting millions of dollars from the province for meeting its targets for new housing. Just over $8 million is coming to the city from the province's Build Faster Fund. The city broke ground on more than 3,000 homes last year, the third year where the province's targets have been reached.
First and foremost, we believe we're a great community for people to live, work, and thrive in. But more importantly, from a housing perspective, we've really been working hard with the industry and so on to make sure we make building homes in Kitchener as easy as possible.
Verbanovic says City Council hopes to decide where the new money will be allocated before Council's summer break. We have an update now on a story we first brought you in April about a 7-year-old Guelph boy. Matteo Vandermeer lost most of his mobility back in 2022. Earlier this year, his family launched a fundraiser to buy a device to help Matteo walk again. As CTV's Alexandra Hullock shows us, the family hit their target, and now Matteo is hitting his stride.
You're doing so good, Matteo. I'm so proud of you.
7-year-old Matteo Vandermeer is doing something his family thought he'd never do again, walking in his living room. He uses a Trexo robotic exoskeleton, a device that seemed out of reach only a few months ago.
We can't believe that we reached our goal overnight, and now it's here. It really seems like a dream.
It's a dream come true for Matteo's parents, who launched a fundraiser at the end of March, hoping to raise $45,000 to buy the Trexo. In late April, CTV News shared their story when they were still $7,000 short. But by the next morning, the family surpassed their goal.
We want to thank every single person who shared our story, who donated.
Every cent, every action that people take to help us it's really meaningful, and we really appreciate it. And it makes a big difference for Matteo.
You're doing it, Matteo. Great work.
Matteo was born with a severe heart condition. At just 4 years old, a medical complication during an emergency surgery left him paralyzed. But Matteo and his family didn't give up.
Matteo is so courageous, he's so strong, and he's exceeded expectations constantly. Matteo's taken over 100 steps.
His parents say having the device at home helps Matteo build strength and confidence.
This is just the beginning for him. He's taken a couple hundred steps now, but eventually he'll take 1,000 steps and then 10,000 steps. And who knows what that will do for his brain and for his muscle connections.
As for the extra money raised, the family says those funds will go towards specialized physio appointments, with the hope that Matteo will soon be on the move outside their Guelph home.
I think that's one of the most exciting things that we're looking forward to doing is have him be able to experience the world in a way that he hasn't yet.
While inspiring others who may be in similar situations to keep the faith and the pace.
That's 10 minutes, Mateo. Woohoo! You did it.
Alexandra Hollick, CTV News, Guelph.
Well, here's a live look outside at Uptown Waterloo, and it's become a little bit cloudier once again. That's kind of been the theme today. Lots of clouds, threatening rain showers at times. Quite a lightning show last night. We'll talk about all of it and what to expect for the weekend with Ashley in just a few minutes. Also coming up, Kitchener's on the list for Canada's plan to get rid of more door-to-door mail delivery. We've got those details. But next, at a time of trade tensions, the Prime Minister's off to Europe to sit down with other G7 leaders. All right, Ashley's here with our forecast. You know, this week has kind of sailed on by. We are almost in the weekend already, and we've had kind of a topsy-turvy week as far as the weather goes. So we're ready for some sun, Ash.
It's been a hard week because it's when we get this hot, humid weather, Tony, these storms and these showers become unpredictable in many regards.
Wanted to tell you before you go on with the forecast, as we were leaving here last night, heading down that big dip in the highway across the Grand River where you get that big panoramic view.
Yes.
What a lightning show. I thought I was looking at a movie set.
It's pretty incredible, isn't it?
It was wild because there were so many storms just to the west and to the north of us, but of course you get that open horizon with all that flat land outside of Waterloo region, and I'm telling you, it was something else. It was like an electric light show.
Absolutely. And if you watched yesterday's show, you would have seen in our future cast, it looked like we would get heavy rainfall for a lot of this morning. We didn't actually get much in Waterloo region. We got pockets of showers, but no extreme rainfall, which it looked like we were due to receive.
The threat was definitely there, though.
Yes.
Like the vibe was there that the clouds were going to open up at any second. And that just gives you an idea of how unstable it's been.
And as we take a look outside, Tony, you can see we are pretty much in a carbon copy from yesterday into today. We are getting a little bit of overcast now. We've seen spotty showers on and off through the day. We've also seen pockets of sunshine, and when that sun came out, my goodness, it was hot and muggy out there, and continuing to be so at least for the next 24 hours. We are looking at the potential for rain through the overnight hours, but first let's talk about the heat, especially down near Windsor, Leamington, Essex County, where the warning is still in place. 33 degrees there, feeling closer to 43 with the humidity. So if you're basically anywhere in southern Ontario, but especially if you are in those regions, make sure you have some extra water on you as that warning continues from Environment Canada. Let's take a look at our futurecast. Now, this is what Tony's talking about. See these pockets of rain everywhere sort of around us, but we're not seeing any directly on Waterloo region at this stage. Now, we will see some through the overnight hours and then once again into Friday morning, but by Friday afternoon, we are looking at relatively clear skies moving into your Saturday. So things are shaping up to be a great weekend. As we take a look at what's happening across the country, 17 in Prince George and 19 in Vancouver. Not bad. On the other side of the Rockies, a little cooler there, 14 in both Edmonton and Calgary with a bit of rain in Calgary. Saskatoon just 13 degrees, Regina raining and 15. Yellowknife sitting at a comfortable 17. Thompson just 8 and some rain. Moving further east, Thunder Bay sitting at 20 degrees in cloud cover, raining in our nation's capital in 29, 27 over in Quebec City. And as we push further to our east coast, we are looking at 35 or 31 degrees rather in Fredericton, feeling closer to 35 with the humidex, and Halifax 19. So it is a very warm day throughout the country, but here in southern Ontario, we're really feeling that heat. Still sitting at 26 degrees in Waterloo region, but still feeling closer to 34. You know, we are close to sunset, you know, just a few hours away, and it's still that warm. Overnight, temperatures aren't dipping for our just 18 degrees, so it is going to be a bit of a muggy night once again. And tomorrow, as we saw, we could see a risk of a thunderstorm, Potential for rain. It could be windy at times, a westerly wind of 30 kilometers an hour, gusts up to 50 in the morning especially. 25 degrees is the expected daytime high. Taking a closer look at our 7-day forecast for the region, check out Saturday. It's shaping up to be a perfect spring weekend. 27 and sunny. We will get a little bit more rain on Sunday, but check out the temperatures. I think a lot of folks who have been, suffering through this heat wave will appreciate the fact that Sunday into next week temperatures really cool off. Lambton, Kent, Essex, similar there, 29 degrees for your Friday and Saturday, dipping down to 23 for Sunday and Monday. And in southern Georgian Bay, you'll see an even cooler dip after Saturday. Check out Sunday night, dipping down to 6 degrees overnight. So a much more comfortable sleeping opportunity there than we have all had over the last few days. Okay, let's take a look at today's Weather Watcher picture sent in from Richard, who snapped this photo with his wife while on a bike ride through Ayr the other evening after watching CTV News at 6. Thanks for sharing. What a beautiful shot in Ayr.
The Jedburgh Dam, and good point. That is the perfect time to get out and enjoy the evening weather after you've watched CTV News at 6.
And temperatures are starting to come down a little bit with the fall. So, you want to see that nightfall come in and cool off things a little bit.
It's nice to get these longer periods in the evening where we've got some daylight when we can enjoy it, of course.
Absolutely.
Yep. Okay. Thanks, Ash.
Thanks, Tony.
Well, Prime Minister Carney's heading to Europe again today. His first stop, Paris, meeting with Emmanuel Macron before he stops in Ireland, and then it's on to the G7 in the French Alps. CTV's Mike LeCouture has more.
There are a number of international issues G7 leaders will be seized with, including the war in Iran. Canadians will be watching to see if Prime Minister Mark Carney gets any FaceTime with U.S. President Donald Trump. The American leader is expected to attend the G7 in Yverdon-les-Bains, France, at the foot of the Alps. But it's unclear how much time Carney will get one-on-one. As the CUSMA renewal deadline is just 3 weeks away, Canadian businesses will be keen to hear if there is any progress made on that front. But the G7 itself, Canada is hoping the group of nations will make progress on 3 areas. The first is strengthening critical minerals value chains among like-minded nations. It's something that was started at last year's meeting in Kananaskis, Alberta. Now, Canada also wants to reduce macroeconomic imbalances across the world and to talk about the future of international aid as some nations pull back in that space. Now, Canadian officials who briefed reporters ahead of the trip warned getting consensus on any of these topics could prove difficult. So they say it's unlikely that we'll see a joint communique at the conclusion of the meeting. Before all that, the Prime Minister will make stops in Paris and in Dublin. While in Ireland, Carney wants to deepen economic ties with that country. But we're also expecting a little personal side trip, as his grandparents were born in that part of the world. Mike LeCouture, CTV News, Ottawa.
And a high-profile Canada-U.S. business summit in Toronto today was centered around talk of CUSMA, the trade deal. While Donald Trump yesterday suggested he wasn't interested in negotiating a new trade deal, his controversial ambassador is hinting at ways that Canada can make it work. CTV's Abigail Beeman has more.
America has a tremendous amount of things where we have a need.
America's Man in Ottawa gives context to these comments from Donald Trump on the Free Trade Pact up for review.
I'm not looking to renew it. We don't need anything that Canada has.
Pete Hoekstra says there are things America needs, potash and oil, for example.
Go into these negotiations very aggressively.
And it's Canada's job to sell itself as the best place to buy.
I think every time we've met with the Canadian government, the president has always kind of closed the meetings off or consistently said through the meetings, make us an offer.
Hoekstra also referenced a positive shift in rhetoric from Doug Ford on his trip to D.C. this week, Pierre Poilievre, and this from the Prime Minister.
Canada Strong will help make America great again.
What I'm encouraged by is, what we do see as a pivot.
As an investor, as someone who's spent most of his career allocating capital, uncertainty sucks.
Canada's rarely heard from ambassador said America first doesn't mean America alone.
I think we need to continually remind Americans of the importance of Canada to the United States. We're not good at that. always.
I'm optimistic.
While the minister responsible remains hopeful about a 16-year deal extension.
I try and demystify this July 1st deadline.
Right.
It's not a cliff that everybody goes hurtling off.
LeBlanc said he spoke with U.S. Commerce Secretary Howard Lutnick this week and will see Trade Representative Jameson Greer at the G7 next week. He described conversations as constructive with a need to move forward. Abigail Beeman, CTV News, Ottawa.
Putting cycling on the map. Just ahead, CTV's Spencer Turcotte with the creators of a Made in Waterloo app that's been spreading in popularity across the country.
I'm Krista Simpson. Thousands of addresses in Kitchener will soon be making the switch from door-to-door mail delivery to community boxes. The area is impacted as Canada Post rolls out the next phase of its 5-year conversion plan. That story is ahead.
The company behind the Grok AI chatbot and social media platform X have been found to have violated Canada's privacy laws.
Given the serious risks for Canadians' fundamental right to privacy and the potential harms, I initiated an investigation on this issue into X Corp and XAI. The investigation has found that X Corp and XAI violated Canada's federal private sector privacy law by launching the Grok AI-powered image generation tool without implementing appropriate safeguards from the outset. This lack of protection allowed users to create and share sexualized deepfakes, largely targeting women and children. According to researchers, Grok was at one point generating well over 6,000 sexualized images per hour.
One of the recommendations made is that the tool be suspended until all of the appropriate safeguards can be put in place. But the privacy commissioner says the company has not accepted to do that and he can't force it. Some measures have been taken, but the company remains in non-compliance. Both XAI and X Corp are owned by Elon Musk's SpaceX. A Made in Waterloo Region cycling app is picking up speed. We first brought you the story a few years ago during the testing phase. Now the creators say it's helping people across the country find their way around with cycling-specific routes. CTV's Spencer Turcotte reports.
In 2023, Cycling Guide was still just a pilot designed to help Waterloo Region cyclists find safer routes. Now the app is out and it's full speed ahead.
There's a marker there. We're on Caroline Street.
Cycling Guide attracts users looking for a less stressful way to get around on two wheels.
What our app does is we optimize our routes based on levels of traffic stress you can expect to encounter.
The app analyzes roads, trails, and bike lanes, then recommends routes based on how comfortable they are for cyclists. A separated bike lane or multi-use trail ranks low on the stress scale. Busy arterial roads rank much higher.
We use OpenStreetMap data, which is like Wikipedia for mapping data, which means it's maintained by people around the world, including here in Waterloo Region and including us.
Since the original launch, the app has added new features aimed at first-time riders, including cycling tips and information about secure places to park your bike.
That's the City of Kitchener's bike check at Victoria Park.
With fuel costs climbing and Waterloo Region expected to reach 1 million residents by 2050, advocates say cycling will need to play a larger role in the transportation network.
There isn't room on the roads for 1 million people to be driving around in cars.
The app's creators believe helping people feel safer on a bike could be part of the solution, and not just in Waterloo Region. It has expanded to Ottawa, Halifax, Sarnia, and Saskatoon, with communities like London now beta testing the platform.
The app is free, and it always will be free.
But most importantly, the app's inventors feel the goal isn't to reinvent the wheel. It's to help people use their wheels more safely. Spencer Turcotte, CTV News, Waterloo.
All right, and now moving on to another developing story we've been following. Kitchener is next on the plan to get rid of door-to-door mail delivery. Canada Post announcing today about 41,000 addresses in the city will switch to community mailboxes. CTV's Krista Simpson joining us live now with all of these details. Krista.
Tony, Canada Post is starting to convert about 4 million addresses across the country that still get door-to-door delivery. It's a change that's expected to take 5 years. And now parts of Kitchener are on the list to make the switch next year. That includes postal codes that begin with N2A, N2B, N2C, N2E, N2G, N2H, N2M, N2N, and N2P. The goal is to convert these areas to community mailboxes by October 2027, so just under a year and a half from now. Canada Post's Director of Public Relations says these locations were chosen because they are close to neighborhoods that already have community mailboxes. The change is part of the federal government's effort to address Canada Post's growing losses, $1.57 billion in 2025 and more in the first part of 2026. Today, Canada Post announced about 150,000 addresses in Ontario that are next on the list to make the switch. Other impacted communities are Ajax, Brampton, Hawkesbury, London, Mississauga, and Pickering. Canada Post will now start determining exactly where community mailboxes will go up.
The process takes several months. So Canada Post, we go and do some citing. And so we're doing, based on our criteria, like security, accessibility. So we identify the sites that we think are the most, the best one for people to transition to and where to install the box. So we do that first step, and then we share our recommendations with the municipalities, and we work with their planning department to make sure that that works with them, and then we communicate the locations to the impacted residents.
For people who may encounter challenges using a community mailbox, Canada Post does offer various accommodations and tools to make it easier, and some people may qualify to get weekly home delivery of their mail. Details on how to request those services can be found on our website, ctvnewskitchener.ca. Tony.
Okay, Krista, thank you. CTV's Krista Simpson with the latest on those Canada Post changes. A story out of Huron County that turned into a historic moment. Just ahead, the Blythe Festival Theatre kicks off a season with a world premiere about a local movement that made national headlines. A new play is about to make its world premiere in Blythe, kicking off the community's Summer Theatre Festival. For more on the show and its connection to Ontario and Canadian history, we have this report tonight from CTV's Scott Miller.
In 1978, 80 women working at a Huron County automotive wiring factory changed Canadian labor law forever.
I didn't know about this, and I consider myself a feminist. I know that our playwright, Kristen De Silva, she didn't know about it, and when she discovered it, her first thing was she immediately started looking up going, where's the play about this? Where's the movie? And there wasn't one.
Is that true? Now there is. The Sisters of 78, a dramatization based on the strike at Fleck Manufacturing in Centralia, is now in previews at the Blythe Festival Theatre. The 5-month-long strike, based on horrific working conditions, low wages, and workplace harassment, involved heavy-handed police intervention and government meddling to try and break the all-female work crew. But they persevere, securing the first-ever sexual harassment clause in a Canadian labor agreement and bringing women's workplace rights to the forefront of every labor negotiation from that point forward.
The fact that so many people sat up and paid attention, and this small group of women, like what they did, what they accomplished across the country moving forward, and the impact they made, it can't be underestimated.
For those recreating the female strikers' perilous journey against all odds, it has been a harsh reminder of the conditions women dealt with less than 50 years ago.
When you tell people that in the year before this play, 1977, that was the first year women could have a credit card in their own name, that blows my mind. Like, I take so many of these rights for granted, and I take the fact that I can walk in the world as an equal person for granted.
The world premiere of Sisters of 78 has its official opening Friday night in Blythe.
Just seeing a moment when women changed history, I think is really inspiring for me, because there are lots of things happening in the world that sometimes make me feel powerless. And it's been really inspiring to work with these characters, work with Kristen De Silva's beautiful text, and also be in the room with these powerful women.
In Blythe, Scott Miller, CTV News.
All right, we'll be back in just a couple of minutes, but first let's check in with Ash once again.
Well, we're in for another warm night and some rain is on the way, but what will Friday shape up to be like? Those details after this break. Stay with us. Start your night off with E-Talk at 7, followed by The Big Bang Theory at 7:30, and then cap your night off with CTV movie Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2.
KW's Bounce 99.5 has the music you just can't quit. Listen all summer for your chance to win. Turn the lights off, carry me home. With Bounce to your backyard.
All right, we are back, and Ashley is here with our wake-up weather forecast for Friday, TGIF, the 12th of June, so we're almost halfway through the month.
Can you believe that?
No.
We're halfway through the year, Tony, which is even crazier.
Whoa, okay, my mind is blown.
I know. I mean, and almost near summer as well. We've got about a week to go before we hit summer, and you know what? It's going to be another beautiful day tomorrow. Very summer-like and less like spring, so it's going to be great news. Let's take a look at our wake-up weather board just so you know exactly what you're into. So we could see the risk of a thunderstorm at first thing at 6 a.m., cloudy by 8, and then that sun should really start peeking through by 10. But as you can see, very warm, very early in the day, Tony, and will continue to be so throughout your Friday.
And clearing up just in time for you to be off for the weekend and off for a week.
Yes, I have a little holiday, thankfully.
And I have a little message.
Uh-oh.
It's not only from me, though. It's from me and Piglet. This is the inside story here is that Piglet was on Ashley's desk for a little while, and then Piglet has been on my desk for a while. While you're away, it's going to be your birthday,
It is,
and I
yes.
wanted to wish you a happy birthday.
Thank you.
I know all of our viewers agree, and I wanted to share a Piglet quote, because we move around a lot in this industry and things change. If ever there comes a day when we're not together, keep us in your heart. We'll stay there forever.
Oh, that's beautiful.
That's Piglet. That's not me. But happy birthday, Ash.
Thank you, Tony. You're going to make me cry, and I won't do that on television. So.
Achievement unlocked.
But thank you. And you know, your birthday's not far after.
I know.
So
Yeah, it's late.
We'll be saying happy birthdays to you as well.
It's later in the month. We're both June babies.
We are. But
Have a great week, Ash.
Thank you so much.
And we'll see you here at 11:30. Have a good night. Bye from Piglet.